It is being reported by ESPN's Adam Schefter that the Pittsburgh Steelers intend to sign Russell Wilson. So, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Steelers will be signing Russell Wilson, and this will be a deal for the veteran minimum, which is $1.2 million. So, this move cannot be actually made official until Wilson is released by the Denver Broncos, and this will take place at the start of the new league year, which is on Wednesday. But Russell Wilson, he also kind of reported on this news because he shared on Twitter clips of the Pittsburgh Steelers fans and also the Renegade. So basically, it's made official by him, and he plans to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this will heat up the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback room now, because now there's going to be a battle between Kenny Pickett and Russell Wilson for who will be the starter. So the conversation now begins. But enough with that talk. This video is about Russell Wilson and his official introduction to the Pittsburgh Steelers and everything you need to know about him. So Russell Wilson will now be turning 35 years old. He's a 9-time Pro Bowl player and a former Super Bowl champion. Russell Wilson is owed about $38 million, but this will be paid out by the Denver Broncos. Russell Wilson, he threw 26 touchdown passes against just 8 interceptions last season, and this was in 15 starts for the Broncos before he was benched at the very end of the season by the team just based off contract talks. So his stay in Denver lasted just 2 years after he signed a 5-year, $242.6 million contract following a trade in which the Seattle Seahawks got a ton load of draft picks and players back for him. So Russell Wilson, throughout his career, let's start in the 2013 season, his second NFL season. Wilson led the Seattle Seahawks to its first Super Bowl championship. He led the Seattle Seahawks back to the Super Bowl the following season as well in his third season. And if you remember, in that Super Bowl, he was 1 interception, 1 second away from defeating the New England Patriots for a second consecutive championship. But they lost. They didn't run the ball on the 1-yard line. So Russell Wilson, throughout his career, he was selected to the Pro Bowl in all but 1 of his 10 years with the Seattle Seahawks. Throughout his time with the Seattle Seahawks, he was always a player straight from his rookie season who basically played in every single game. You look from the 2012 season all the way to the 2020 season, he played in 16 games and starting 16 games in every single one of those seasons. 2021, his final season with Seattle, he played 14 games. And the past 2 seasons with the Denver Broncos, he's played 15. So he's always been a player that was healthy and was able to stay on the football field. Throughout his career, you look at Russell Wilson, and you look at the amount of touchdowns that he was able to put up, he has a combined 334 touchdowns throughout his entire career with the Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos to just 106 total interceptions. You look at the yardage that he's able to put up, and you see it, and it's at 43,653. So he's a quarterback throughout his career who's been really good and really reliable for his team. Over the past 2 seasons, though, with the Denver Broncos, it really didn't go as planned for the Broncos with Russell Wilson, because you look at him and those final 2 seasons of his career with the Broncos, and you see what he was able to do. He only had a record of 11-19 over those 2 seasons. But throughout his career, you look at the record that he was able to comply with the Seattle Seahawks, it seems like he was always consistently in the playoffs. You look at his record, his worst record with the Seattle Seahawks came in his final season with the team, where he went 6-8. But other than that, his worst one throughout his career has been 9-7 with the Seahawks. So he's always been a quarterback who stayed above 500. And as we all know, that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers kind of do as well. Their record is always above 500 in the Mike Tomlin era. However, like I said, with the Broncos, he really didn't have a good record. But throughout his career, he has. So, looking at the film from the past 2 seasons with Russell Wilson and is kind of late towards his tenure in Seattle, you see the film and you see that he's really kind of went down as a quarterback and isn't really a top tier player anymore. But just looking at the box score numbers, 26 touchdowns and only 8 interceptions is what he put up a year ago. Even though he struggled, even though the film, it wasn't great, it far surpasses the production that the Pittsburgh Steelers have gotten in the final 2 seasons, the last 2 years without Ben Roethlisberger at quarterback, and with Kenny Pickett at quarterback, with Mitchell Trubisky. Those numbers, the Pittsburgh Steelers only had 13 touchdowns, I believe, this past season from the quarterback. So having a quarterback come in that basically doubled that production by himself with a struggling team, it will far succeed and surpass what the Steelers did last season. Even though he's not the quarterback that he used to be, in which he was able to use his legs, use his arm to throw during over the middle of the field, even though he's not the same quarterback, his production surpasses anything the Pittsburgh Steelers have done the past 2 seasons. And at least you have someone who you know could be a consistent and reliable person. He may not be that huge difference maker, but you may just need a quarterback to manage games and kind of have a spark here and there. Even though he's out of his prime and he's not the player he used to be, he could still have that spark in certain moments, and you know what he could do. So signing him to this deal and maybe having him to be your starter, that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers obviously wanted and needed. Like I said, he isn't as mobile as he used to be, but you look at how many yards he's ran for, he still rushed for 341 yards, and that's his most since the 2020 season. And he also rushed for 3 touchdowns. So he may not be the fast guy who's going to be able to escape the pocket at a great speed, but he can still do it at a very high level and actually make plays with his legs. And he's not a player that just relies on escaping the pocket like Kenny Pickett. When you watch Kenny Pickett play, you would see Kenny Pickett always kind of not stay in the pocket and roll out right away. Russell Wilson's not that type of player. He's the type of player who's going to stay in the pocket, make the plays from the pocket, but if he has to move, that's when he'll move. And that's the quarterback the Pittsburgh Steelers need. Someone to be able to make plays and make plays downfield and stay in that pocket. So, going all the way back, he was drafted in the 3rd round of the 2012 season by the Seattle Seahawks. He went from a backup to franchise quarterback and Super Bowl winner with 188 career starts. He's a lot of experience under his belt, and that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers obviously have been missing at the quarterback spot since Big Ben has been gone. Kenny Pickett, they took a chance on him as a rookie, even in his 2nd season, and just has not panned out. They've been looking at other options at the quarterback spot, maybe train for Justin Fields, but it seems like that market has slowed down. They're not doing that anymore, and now they turned their attention to Russell Wilson very early on, right after he got released by the Denver Broncos. And now, on Wednesday, this deal for him, when he's officially released at the start of the new year, it could be official. And just in case if you're wondering on why Russell Wilson was cut from the team, was he not good enough? Was that the reason they cut him? Well, looking at the Denver Broncos situation, to be honest, it was really a tricky one because the Denver Broncos, late towards the end of last season, the reason why they benched him to begin with is because they wanted him to kind of restructure his contract and take out all the injury guarantees, meaning that if he got injured, his guarantees on his contract would completely go away, and he didn't want to do that. He said on a podcast that he was not willing to do that. He did not want to set an example for everyone around the league that they could be forced into doing it. So he didn't do it. And I guess the coach, the GM, they didn't like that, and they decided to bench him and prove a point. And then they were unable to kind of repair that relationship after that. And now they officially release him and are going a different direction. Who knows if the Denver Broncos are going to sign a quarterback in free agency, if they're going to draft someone, but Russell Wilson will no longer be on that team. They gave up a lot of assets to get him, and it just did not work out, and now it puts them in a bad situation. But we're not the Denver Broncos. We're the Pittsburgh Steelers. And what did we get him for? We got him for the veteran minimum. He's not even making backup quarterback money. Like, you look at Mitchell Trubisky and you see how much money he got paid last season for the Steelers. What did he get? Nearly $10 million per year. You look at backup quarterbacks on the market. What do they get? Around $8 million, $6 million per year. Well, you have Kenny Pickett basically making backup quarterback money on his rookie contract. And you have a starter in Russell Wilson making a veteran minimum. That's a really good value at the quarterback spot. And making those kind of contracts work allows you to pay other people and go and sign weapons to surround the quarterback. So this is a really good deal for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if he starts, great. If he doesn't start, he could be a mentor to Kenny Pickett. But I 100% believe he'll obviously be the starter. That's the reason why he came here. He probably would have went to a different team if the Steelers told him that they wanted him to be a backup. So more than likely, he's going to be the starter going into camp, and hopefully he could get all these weapons involved. We've seen over the last 2 seasons, George Pickens get mad on the sideline because he's not getting the ball. So hopefully Russell Wilson could get these players all involved, whether that's Pat Freiermuth, which he barely got any targets last season, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, or even Calvin Austin. Hopefully he could turn around the Pittsburgh Steelers and not allow us just to be first round exits or kind of a team that's on the brink of the playoffs every season. Hopefully we can make a deep playoff push and Russell Wilson changes stuff. But with that being said, this is the official introduction for Russell Wilson to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on this move. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Did you want the Steelers to go in a different direction? And do you think he'll beat out Kenny Pickett for the job? I think it's obvious that he will, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on this topic. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like Steelers content and analysis reports. Like the video, make sure you turn on post notifications down below for this channel as well, so you can get notified whenever I post the next Steelers video. The free agency is right around the corner. It's starting in a few days, so to stay updated with everything going on, who Pittsburgh Steelers sign, I'll be breaking all the news. So stay up to date here, turn notifications, and like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.